If you could only ever own three lenses for the rest of your photography career, which three would you pick? For most working photographers and filmmakers, the answer isn't a secret anymore. It's a combination that's been quietly dominating professional kits for years, often called the holy trinity of zooms. In this video, I'm breaking down the exact three lenses that can realistically replace almost every other lens in your bag: an ultra-wide zoom, a standard zoom, and a telephoto zoom, all sharing the same fast f2.8 aperture. Together, they cover everything from sweeping landscapes to intimate portraits to fast-paced sports and events, without a single gap in focal length. If you've ever felt overwhelmed trying to figure out which lens to buy next, or found yourself owning 5 lenses you barely use, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 3 lenses you actually need, and why you probably don't need anything else. And before we dive in, if you find this helpful, do hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's stuck picking their next lens. Here's what usually happens. You buy your first camera, and then the lens buying spiral begins. A cheap 50mm prime here, a kit zoom there, maybe a macro lens because it looked interesting, then a fisheye you use twice. Before you know it, you've spent thousands of dollars on lenses that are either duplicates of each other or so specialized you barely touch them. And the worst part is, you still don't have the right lens when it actually matters, at a wedding, on a hike, or courtside at a game. This is exactly the problem professional photographers solved decades ago by building their kits around 3 zoom lenses instead of a dozen primes. Instead of chasing every focal length, they picked 3 ranges that together cover almost everything, all at a fast, consistent f2.8 aperture, so the look and performance stays the same no matter which lens is on the camera. That's the idea we're working with today, and I'm going to show you the exact 3 lenses that make this possible right now. The first lens in this trinity is the Sony FE 16 to 35mm f2.8 GM2, and it's the widest piece of the puzzle. This is Sony's flagship ultra-wide zoom, and it's built for the shots where you need to capture more of the scene than your eyes naturally see: sweeping landscapes, tight interiors, architecture, real estate, and travel. What makes this lens special isn't just the focal range, it's how Sony managed to pack flagship-level performance into what is genuinely the smallest and lightest full-frame f2.8 ultra-wide zoom in its class. Weighing in at just 547 grams, it's noticeably lighter and more compact than its predecessor, which matters a lot if you're carrying this alongside 2 other zooms all day. Optically, it uses 15 elements in 12 groups, delivering exceptional sharpness that holds up all the way into the corners, with minimal distortion and vignetting, even wide open at f2.8. It also focuses impressively close, down to 0.22 meters, so you can get creative with foreground elements in your landscape shots or grab close-up detail shots at a wedding or event. For filmmakers, this lens is just as capable, with fast, silent autofocus and breathing compensation support on compatible bodies, making it a favorite for cinematic wide shots and vlogging. Whether you're shooting a mountain range, a cramped hotel room, or a building facade, this lens is the one you reach for when you need to fit more into the frame without sacrificing image quality. The second lens in this trinity is the one that will probably live on your camera the most: the Sigma 24 to 70mm f2.8 DGDN 2ART. This is the standard zoom, and it's arguably the most versatile focal range in all of photography, covering everything from environmental portraits and street photography to weddings, travel, and everyday documentary-style shooting. Now you might be wondering why we're picking a Sigma here instead of Sony's own 24 to 70mm GM2, and the answer is simple: value. This lens delivers flagship-level sharpness, fast and virtually silent autofocus, thanks to its improved high-response linear actuator and a constant f2.8 aperture, all while costing significantly less than the first-party alternative. It's also been meaningfully upgraded from the original version, now 10% lighter at 745 grams and about 7% smaller, with improved close focusing down to 17 centimeters at the wide end for a higher maximum magnification than before. The build quality doesn't feel like a compromise either. It's fully weather-sealed, with a new aperture ring, a declickable option for smooth video exposure changes, and well-controlled focus breathing that videographers will appreciate. Whether you're photographing a couple during their first dance, wandering through a city on a travel shoot, or shooting a commercial product setup, this lens covers the range you'll use most, and it does it at a price that makes the other two lenses in this trinity easier to justify. The third and final lens in this trinity is the Sony FE 70 to 200 mm f2.8 GM OSS II, and this is where you go when you need to reach out and compress the scene. Portraits, sports, wildlife events, and anything where getting physically closer to your subject just isn't an option. This lens represents one of the biggest upgrades in Sony's entire GM lineup, with a weight reduction of roughly 29% compared to its predecessor, bringing it down to around 1,045 grams. That might not sound dramatic on paper, but if you've ever held a 70 to 200 for a full wedding or an entire sports game, you know exactly how much a lighter lens changes your shooting day. Beyond the weight savings, this lens brings genuinely outstanding sharpness across the entire zoom range, even wide open at f2.8, along with fast, precise autofocus driven by Sony's advanced linear motor system, making it just as comfortable tracking a sprinting athlete as it is nailing focus on a subject's eye during a portrait session. It also features built-in optical steady-shot image stabilization, giving you several extra stops of hand-holding confidence in lower light, plus multiple stabilization modes for panning and unpredictable motion. And for those who need even more reach, this lens is fully compatible with Sony's 1.4 times and 2 times teleconverters, stretching it out to as far as 400 millimeters when you need it. From courtside shots to candid portraits to wildlife at a distance, this is the lens that closes the gap. This trinity leaves open, and it does it while being the lightest lens of its kind currently available. So why do these three specific lenses work so well together, and why do professionals keep coming back to this exact combination? It comes down to math and consistency. The 16 to 35 millimeter covers your wide end, the 24 to 70 millimeter picks up right where it leaves off and covers your everyday range, and the 70 to 200 millimeters takes over from there and carries you all the way out to 200 millimeters. Lined up together, that's 16 millimeters to 200 millimeters of continuous coverage, with no annoying gaps where you'd have to stop, switch lenses, and miss a shot. And because all three lenses share the same constant f2.8 aperture, your exposure settings, your depth of field, and the overall look of your images stay consistent no matter which lens is mounted, which matters enormously when you're editing a shoot afterward and want everything to match. This is also why this combination works for almost any type of shooter. A landscape photographer can go from a wide vista to a compressed telephoto detail shot without missing a beat. A wedding photographer can capture the venue, the ceremony, and the reception dance floor with just these three lenses in one bag. Even a run-and-gun videographer gets a wide establishing shot, a standard interview lens, and a telephoto for compression, all from the same three-lens kit. That's the real power of the Trinity. It's not about owning the most lenses, it's about owning the right three that quietly cover everything else. Now, I want to be upfront about something. This isn't a buy the most expensive gear video. Notice that 2 out of these 3 lenses are Sony's own GM series, but the middle one, the standard zoom, is a Sigma. That's intentional. The Sigma 24 to 70 mm f2.8 DGDN2 art proves that you don't need to default to first-party glass for every single lens in your kit to get professional results. It goes head-to-head with Sony's own 24 to 70 mm GM2 in sharpness, autofocus speed, and build quality, but it comes in at a noticeably lower price, which means the money you save can go toward the other 2 lenses, extra bodies, or just stay in your pocket. This is really the smarter way to think about building a kit. Spend where the performance difference actually matters, and save where a third-party option gives you 95% of the result for a fraction of the cost. That's exactly why this specific combination of 3 lenses gets recommended so often. It's not blind brand loyalty, it's simply the best mix of image quality, coverage, and value you can put together right now. So there you have it, the only 3 lenses you'll ever really need. The Sony FE 16 to 35 mm f2.8 GM2 for everything wide, the Sigma 24 to 70mm f2.8 DGDN2, art for everything in between, and the Sony FE 70 to 200mm f2.8 GM OSS II for everything far away. Together, they cover almost every situation you'll ever shoot, all at a matching f2.8 aperture, so you can stop worrying about which lens to buy next and just focus on getting the shot. If you found this breakdown helpful, do hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's stuck trying to figure out their next lens purchase. It might just save them a lot of time and money. Let me know in the comments which one of these three you already own or which one you're planning to get first. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.